What I want to share with you is, where does guilt go? My guilt is supposed to go first towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's a huge difference between the guilt I have towards Allah and a guilt I have towards a person. And let's understand that a little bit. I'll give you practical, realistic examples. Like, for instance, we have the case of, Yaqub alayhi salam's sons in the Quran, right? So his sons messed up pretty bad. And they hurt their father for many, many years. They abused him. They called him insane. They taught their children to call him insane. They taught their wives to call him insane. In fact, they weren't even home. They were with Yusuf alayhi salam. And when Yaqub alayhi salam heard the scent or smelled the scent of Yusuf's shirt, you know that the story, right? He wasn't home alone. He was with his daughter-in-laws and his grandchildren, because the sons were not home. They were elsewhere. And he said, "Lawla an tufannidun." He said, "Inni la ajidu riha Yusuf. Lawla an tufannidun." He said, I can smell the scent of Yusuf, despite the fact that you people, who's the you people? That's his daughter-in-laws and his grandchildren. You people think that I'm insane. Where did they learn to call him insane? From his own sons. And these are the sons that know that their father is in fact a prophet. They know that. They actually know that. They know that he's the son of Ishaq, who is the son of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Wa alayhim salam. So they know all of that, and yet they committed these horrible crimes inside of the family. It's one thing that you owe the best to your father because he's your father. On top of that, he's a prophet too. So the level to which they messed up cannot be undermined. There's a pretty serious degree of crime here. But at the end of it all, the Quran seems to indicate that they felt bad about what they did. When they were finally confronted, when they were finally humbled, they feel bad about what they've been doing. And they come towards their dad and they say that you should, please make istighfar for us. Please pray for us, which is a way of saying, by the way, you cannot pray for someone if you hate them or if you have a grudge against them, right? So they're saying two things in one. They combined forgive us and pray for us all in one statement, because he cannot pray for them if he hasn't already what? Forgiven them, right? So when they said, can you make istighfar to your Rabb for us? Then at that point, they're asking him to forgive. But he's a human being. And Yaqub alayhi salam has cried so much that he's lost his sight for a long time, that Allah brought back because of the shirt. So it's not an easy, it's not, oh, this one time you hurt my feelings. This is years and years and years. And not only did they hurt Yusuf alayhi salam and their father, in fact, Yusuf's, full brother, Binyamin, they kept abusing him too. They kept hurting him too. So this is a long history of crimes. So just one sorry is not going to cut it. That's not good enough. So even their father turns to them and says, "Sawfa astaghfiru lakum Rabbi." He says, I will, not just yet. So the sawfa, some mufassirun comment here, yushir ila ta'khir. There's a little bit of a delay. He's saying, I'll get there. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to forgive you yet. So they're feeling guilty towards their dad, and they're saying sorry to their dad. And their dad is saying, I'm not entirely ready to pray for you yet. I will, hopefully. I'm not there yet. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because we have to understand the difference between the human ability or inability to forgive right away, and the difference between that and who Allah is. Allah forgives right away. Allah forgives right away. You can be committing crimes against Allah for years and years and years. Sins on top of sins on top of sins. Knowingly and unknowingly. Ya Allah, I knew I had to pray. I still didn't pray. I knew that was wrong. I still did it. I knew that was haram. I still earned money that way. I knew that was wrong. I still lied about it in court. I still did this. I still did that. I did hurt this person because I was angry. I did this because I didn't care about it. I did this because I just didn't want to hear anything else. I was selfish at the time. I was drunk on my own emotions at the time. Whatever it was. And you can have so many crimes against Allah for so long. And at the end of all of that, Allah just says, just make tawbah, just make istighfar, right? And He says, Inna Allah yaghfiru dhunuba jami'a. Ya ibadiya alladhina asrafu ala anfusihim. لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا. My slaves that have been crossed the line. Asrafu. They went past the line, and they've been going past the line. They've lived a life of crossing the line. Don't lose hope in Allah's loving care. Allah will forgive all sins. Just come back. Just make istighfar, right? But then that sounds too easy. And because we know that when you ask somebody else for forgiveness, they don't forgive that easily. So what we do is something that we don't realize we're doing. We do something in psychology, they call it projection. So we project the human inability to forgive right away because people are not forgiving. So you start assuming that Allah is also not immediately forgiving. How can Allah forgive? Do you know how much I messed up? I mean, I know I've heard the ayat about Allah forgiving, but bro, seriously, I did some Olympic level stuff. Like my stuff is on another level. So I don't think you understand how far off from forgiveness I particularly am. I cannot begin to tell you how many people write to me, tell me, I know Allah is angry with me. I know Allah hates me. I know Allah hates. It's an incredible volume of Muslims that believe that they are beyond forgiveness. They're beyond redemption. They are beyond that. And what I want you to know is, first of all, guilt is a good thing. That's where I started. Guilt is a good thing. But the wrong kind of guilt is what? Allah will never forgive me. I'm too far gone. You know who believes Allah will never forgive him? Iblis. He actually believes that. And if I share that belief with him, then I've joined the wrong team. I cannot believe that about myself. You cannot believe that about yourself, that Allah will never forgive. You cannot do that. You can't do that to yourself.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video clip. My team and I have been working tirelessly to try to create as many resources for Muslims to give them first steps in understanding the Quran all the way to the point where they can have a deep, profound understanding of the Quran. We are students of the Quran ourselves, and we want you to be students of the Quran alongside us. Join us for this journey on BayyinahTV.com, where thousands of hours of work have already been put in. And don't be intimidated, it's step by step by step, so you can make learning the Quran a part of your lifestyle. There's lots of stuff available on YouTube, but it's all over the place. If you want an organized approach to studying the Quran beginning to end for yourself, your kids, your family, and even among peers, that would be the way to go. Sign up for BayyinahTV.com.